Welcome to In 5 Minutes. Now I'll write a program to generate following pattern. Now look at the pattern, it's a bit complex. It's 1, then 2, 3, 2, there is 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, there is 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 5, 4. Now this kind of pattern we have done in case of first line 1, second line 1, 2, 1, third line 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1 and so on. Now here the beginning is always not 1. It's not like 1, 2, 3, then 2, 3, 1 or 1, 2, 3, 4 and then 3, 2, 1. It is every time it's starting with new number. First time it is starting with 1 and only 1 is printed. Then it's starting with 2 and prints 2, 3 and then 2. Then it starts 3, 4, 5 and then 4, 3 and then 4, 5, 6, 7 and 6, 5, 4. So the beginning is as line number is 1 is starting with 1, as line number is 2 starting with 2, as line number is 3 starting with 3 and so on. Now let's discuss how we can solve this problem. So for example, if the input was n equal to 4, then the output should be 4 lines like this. That is how the program has to work. Now as we discussed earlier, there are some spaces over here and these spaces are given by a loop of n minus I. That is, every time there are n minus I spaces whenever there is a pattern which has left side spaces. So we'll use one for loop which will print me n minus I spaces, and after that some numbers are there. Now since the pattern is growing in size, we know that the first for loop that we'll write will go from I equal to 1 to n, where n is the input number. So when the first line is displayed, that time I will be 1, second line displayed, that time I will be 2, third line displayed, I will be 3, fourth line I will be 4. Now let's try and form some relation between I and the output. Now we already know that there is only single space here, that is nothing but n minus 3, that is n minus I spaces. So these many spaces are there, that is n minus I spaces are there. And then the numbers. We'll divide again this pattern into two parts. See, from here to here it is incrementing 3, 4, 5 and then again it's decrementing from 4 to 3. So one part is incrementing, one part is decrementing, but it starts incrementing from 3. So the beginning is 3, that is I, and it increments 3 times up to 5. Now let's see how it is incrementing. See, here starting with 4 when I is 4, so it starts with I and goes up to 7. Now let's transform some relation between these middle values. Each value over there is nothing but 2I minus 1. For example, when I is 3, it's starting with I and going up to 2I minus 1, that is 3 into 2, 6 minus 1. Here starting with I and going up to 2I minus 1. So this much part we can say is actually going from I to 2I minus 1. And then the right side part is going from 2I minus 2 up to I. See, for example, here it's going 4 to 3, then 6 to 4. So generally we can say the right side part is going 2I minus 2 up to I. So just check in one line when I is 4. First it goes 4 to 4 into 2 minus 1, that is 7. So it goes 4 to 7. And the latter part, right side part, goes from 2I minus 2 up to 1, that is, it goes from 4 into 2, 8 minus 2, 6 up to 4. And obviously before that there are n minus I spaces. Now if n is 4 and I is 4, then there are 0 spaces. So generally we can say we have to first input n. Then the main for loop will be I loop that goes from 1 to n. In that we'll write first for loop for generating spaces, that is n minus I spaces. Then one for loop that prints numbers from 1 to 2I minus 1 and other for loop that prints 2I minus 2 to I values. So the overall program will be like this. Let's compare the program with the discussion. See, the first for loop is I going from 1 to n. Fine. The next for loop for spaces, it is n minus I spaces, j equal to 1 to j less than equal to n minus I, so it prints me n minus I spaces. Then the next for loop is to generate values in incrementing order, so j goes from I up to 2I minus 1 with j plus plus and prints j. That is this loop, j goes from I to 2I minus 1 and prints j. The third for loop is to print numbers in decrementing order, that starts from 2I minus 2 and goes up to I. So the next loop is 2I minus 2 up to j equal to I with j minus minus in decrementing order, prints j. And then obviously after that prints a new line. So there is a new line over here and this will be repeated multiple times. Let's try for 2 or 3 steps over here.